Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live. And today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020, and we are again in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but in my opinion, the most valid time of the day to make your buying and selling decisions is at the end of the day. We have the large financial institutions coming in at the end of the day. They take control of the pricing away from the day traders and the algorithms who control it during the day. I consider them smart money. They're dealing with the most money. They have very smart people. They have the best technology. They have the best information, and they wait till the end of the day to make the majority of their buying and selling decisions. So I just like to piggyback on them. So excuse me. Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. It's great to see everybody. I always appreciate you being here. I hope that by investing your time here, you're learning some good trading principles. I just had this intraday trade that I'm going to show you here in a minute. I put it on, I liked it, and I went and got a drink, took my vitamins, came back, and it had exploded. I don't even dare look at it now. I got out of it because I needed to get out. I didn't want to have to worry about it while I was doing the show. I mean, I was very happy with the results, but I'm going to be interested to see what it's done here when I take a look back. But anyway, Bob is here. Hey, Bob, good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see you. Quad Racer is here. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good afternoon to you. Looking forward to our class tomorrow night. It's our fourth class. David is here. Hey, Dave, nice to see you, my friend. Appreciate you being here as always. Miko25, hi, Greg and everyone. Hi, Miko. Appreciate you being here, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Kamal, how you doing? Nice to have you here as always, Kamal. And Scatty13, hello, Greg, and all. Hello to you. Well, interesting day today. How should I explain this? We were down a lot earlier. We've rallied back. NASDAQ, S&P were green at one point. I was watching the action all day long, and I would see stuff go up. I'd see it try to break down, and then boom, immediately got back up. Every time it would break down, boom, immediately got back up. And then just a little while ago here, it really broke to the downside. The Dow's back down 166 points. NASDAQ's up 28 points, and the S&P is down. So it's been an interesting day. I'm going to show here on the the S&P for the last 2 days after the gap up yesterday has literally gone sideways. And I was expecting a break to the downside or to the upside. I wasn't quite sure. So anyway, let's take a look here. Frank is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Always nice to have you, Frank. Thanks for being here. Hi, Dan. Howdy, howdy. Hey, Dan. Howdy back to you. Quad Racer. Roku is down, but still sideways moving and above the 100-day. Yep, I've been watching that. So listen, here's the plan. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. Then some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with me. We're going to go over those. We're going to take a look, see how they're doing. After that, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about trader psychology, trader philosophy, good trading words of wisdom, anything that we can talk about outside of particular support and resistance technicals that might be helpful for your trading. After that, I'm going to go down through my watch list. I have 3 requirements whenever I look to enter a new trade. First requirement is combination, confluence of signals. I want to see multiple groups of buyers coming in at the same price. Then I look at indicators such as MACD and RSI and moving averages, ATR channels. I look at those as potential groups of buyers, and I say this every day, but in order for you to have the best chance, the best probabilities to have a profitable trade, you need to be in the company with as many other groups of buyers as possible. And the way I attempt to do this is I look for different indicators lining up, because I know each indicator, at least in my opinion, equates to a group of buyers. So look for a combination or a confluence of indicators. Secondly, risk to reward is always very important. You can have a great setup, but if you don't have a good risk to reward, I'm going to pass on the trade. A good risk to reward to me means that I can make at least 2 times to the upside compared to what I'm losing to the downside, based upon valid support below me, based upon valid and what's the word I'm looking for here? Realistic resistance above you. All right. And number 3, just make sure you don't have too many correlated positions. You don't want to have 4 airline stocks. Obviously, if they go up, you're going to do really great because they're probably going to go up together. But if they go down, you're not going to do so hot tamale. So try to even it out. Have some tech and some tobacco and some healthcare and some airlines, sure. But just don't be too heavily correlated in one industry or sector. And then in addition to that, it's very important that I don't have too much account heat. 60% of my total capital is the maximum that I will ever put at risk, even if everything is completely uncorrelated. So I'm going to go down through the watch list. I'm going to mark off as I go down. If something looks good upon first pass, I'll mark it. At the end of the day, I'll take those candidates. I'll go through it more with a fine-tooth comb, look for just try to really look for the best. You know, I think a good policy, I don't always follow this, but most of the time I do. I just look for the best possible entry of the day, considering risk to reward, indicators lining up, signals lining up on multiple time frames is ideal. So if I find something at the end of the day, I'll go ahead, place the trade near the close. After that, after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, needs any clarification, please let me know. I'm happy to try to clarify for you. If there's any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at, please let me know. Happy to look at those, give you my humble opinion. If there are any stocks that you would like me to look at before the market closes, if it would be helpful for you to get my opinion or you think it would be helpful for the group, please put a star in the live chat. That way I'll know it's time sensitive. I'll do my best to get to it. And then if you have any new entries or exits that you'd like me to get up on the board, please let me know. But if you could, please just wait till the end of the day after the market closes, just so that I have enough time to get through everything. And then after the market closes, then the pressure's off and we can take as much time as we need. All right, so that's the plan for today. So if you could, hang on, I'll be right back after the legal disclaimer. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Glenn, good to see you, my friend. I think Frank has a poem for us. Tune out the guy with the horns and the pitchfork on your left shoulder. He'll convince you to trade bolder. This time is different, is part of his creed, and nothing wrong with a little greed. But rules are there to serve our needs. Trade safe at your own speed. Ah, so good, Frank. I always appreciate you doing these poems. I just think they're the best thing in the world. I appreciate you taking the time. Let me copy these because I like to post these in Twitter, and people like them in Twitter. I'll tell you what, I see a lot of thumbs up. I think that people appreciate that. Let's read it one more time. Tune out the guy with the horns and the pitchfork on your left shoulder. He'll convince you to trade bolder. This time is different, is part of the creed, and nothing wrong with a little greed, but rules are there to serve our needs. Trade safe at your own speed. Isn't that true? We always have that devil and that angel on our shoulder telling us, oh, no, be careful. Clutching pearls, that's the little angel, and the devil's like, oh, come on, swing for the fences, right? I mean, that poem is spot on, and you have to go with the angel. I'm telling you, that greed is always there to tempt you, right? And I don't know. In my experience, whenever I have that feeling, it doesn't work out very well. Kamal, CDW. CDW. Kamal, did you? Oh, okay. So that did back test well. So you've already tried it on the 520 EMA, and both crossovers back test well. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly's nice. Weekly's kind of trying to work on its own higher low V2. That's what I'm talking about, looking at two different time frames. Hasn't triggered yet, but I like the action. For me, I don't like to buy a crossover over the second ATR channel above the 50. MACD is getting close to crossing, but not quite there. Let's look at DLTR. Let's look at the weekly on this one. Well, we had a higher low V2, although we did have the gap. Pretty dang strong. Pretty strong to close above the 1 ATR channel. That 100 seems pretty looming up there, doesn't it? Let's take a look at the other one again. CDW. Seems to me like CDW has more room to the upside, but up to you. We do have some resistance over here on CDW and then DLTR. Well, we do here, but I like the first one better because look, you have the resistance of the 100 lines up pretty well with the resistance up here. So I think there's going to be a lot of resistance there, and you have to factor that into your risk to reward. And then if we look back again, yeah, I personally like CDW better. But anyway, let me know. Steve, hey buddy, good to see you. Always nice to have Steve here. Appreciate it, my friend. It's always an honor and a privilege. Hey, by the way, and Steve says, hello everyone. Market held up well today so far. There is a great YouTube interview by Chris Uhl and Stephen Burns on Chris Uhl's channel. And Steve just put out a new book called The Working Dead by Steve Burns, How to Trade Stocks and Options. Oh, that's from the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. But it's a great book. I've been listening to this interview. It's basically on personal finance, but I want to share it with you. So I'm going to put it in the chat. And there's the link to that podcast. And the name of the book is The Working Dead. I know it's available on Amazon. So, check out that podcast. And if you're interested, pick up that book. I mean, any book by Steve Burns is worthwhile reading. I've read almost all of them. Haven't read this one yet, but I'm going to listen to it on podcast. So Steve Burns, check it out, please. Hello, everyone. Market held up well today so far. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I mean, okay, so we've had a bit of a comeback since the last 20 minutes ago. It cracked pretty hard, didn't it? Frank says, speak of the devil, I sold Walmart at 131 in the AM. Nice. Well, Frank, I think we know Frank likes to sell on those gap ups. Look at Walmart. I had this yesterday. I got out of it from the earnings. I got up this morning and went, shucks. Oh, well, had to stick with my rules. And now I'm like, oh, yeah. Not good hold through earnings. So Frank, looks like Frank did hold through earnings, and he sold at 131. So congratulations, Frank. MA says, hey. Good to see you, MA. Okay, well, let's take a look and see. I'm excited to show you my VIX trade. That was unbelievable. And you'll see why in a minute. Alibaba, I did buy Alibaba back on the 15th of May. I bought it here 203.96. I bought it when the 5 crossed over the 20 EMA. I also bought it when the 10 crossed over the 50. We had a double crossovers. You don't see those very often. And it is just rocketed upwards ever since. I hit a few, I think I hit 4 profit targets on this yesterday. Did hit another profit target on this today at 218.15. Almost got my second profit target, but not quite yet. But from entry to current price, that's up 7.49%. So I'm really happy with that trade. We're stuck up here. Well, not stuck. We're over the third ATR channel, but whenever we get up to this channel, up to this third ATR channel, about 92% of the times it fails here. So I would not be surprised at all if we just kind of move sideways here. Maybe we go up. My ultimate profit target on this, or my intermediate term profit target on this, is the 70 RSI. If it closes above the 70, I would hold it. It didn't quite get to the 70 today, but it is a bit concerning that it's up here at the third ATR channel. If it holds above the third, I'm not going to do anything with it. If it closes back under, I might take half. But if it closes above, I'll just hold it. It's moved well beyond my 1 ATR from entry, so I'm in trailing stop mode, but there really is no reason to get out of this trade yet. It's made higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, holding above that third ATR channel. So anyway, so far so good, and I know Quad and David also have this. So congratulations, guys. Really good trade. SPY. All right, our favorite. Going to go through this real quick in case we have some new viewers. I want them to understand why I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it the first thing the next morning. This is back-tested, long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. 2 approaches to this trade. Every day since 1993. Option number 1, buy the SPY at the open in the morning, hold it through the day, sell it at the close. If you did this every day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9% return. However, if you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold overnight, take that overnight risk, sell first thing the next morning. This approach yielded a plus 634.2% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. That is true. This may never work another day in our lives, but if I am going to allocate money towards something, I'm going to allocate it towards something that has good history, has a good back-tested results. Blue lines, the buy in the afternoon, hold overnight, sell in the morning. Orange lines, buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. You can see there's a clear difference. It's not a straight up line. There's ups and downs and drawdowns and all sorts of chaos associated with this, but it's essentially like me buying and holding the S&P long term, but I only hold it overnight, not during the day. Got it? So anyway, with that being said, I did buy the SPY yesterday at 295 even. I sold it this morning for a small loss, 294.41. So kind of a yawner, but I'm glad it wasn't any worse. But you can see the day before I had one of my best overnight SPY trades ever. Bought here, sold here. So I am still down on the year this year, but way less than I was at the beginning. Of course, in February and March, and actually everything, January, February, March, April, January, February, March, it was horrible, but I made a huge comeback. So anyway, I will be buying this again at the end of the day. USO, I did buy USO back here on the 14th of May. We were below the third ATR channel. We came back up into the value zone. A lot of sideways movement. You know I like sideways movement. Spike down, reversal back up. So false break to the downside. And here's my trigger with the V2. Here's day 1, day 2. Day 2 washes out day 1 or goes below day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1's close. I bought it here at 21.49, and this has just been a monster trade ever since. Sideways today, but as it goes up, you know I like to scale out. But from entry to exit, or entry to current, up 13.74%. So that's been a great trade. Kamal's been in this. MA's been in this. Karen's been in this. Look at that. Got right to the third ATR channel. How about that? So if it keeps going up and rejects the 50 RSI, I will get out. It has moved more than 1 ATR from my entry. This is the orange line. If tomorrow we close below today's low, boom, I'm just out of the trade. Okay, those are my regular trades. I have 2 day trades here. First one is a losing trade. It's on the 5-minute chart. We came into the value zone and we rallied. Then we went down again. You can see this is why I don't like to buy V1s, V2s that just are straight down and bounce, because oftentimes they'll just make a lower high. Well, it made a lower high, then the bar that I bought it on washed out the previous low, and then had a beautiful V1 here. It started moving up. Stop was halfway of this washout bar. The next bar went down, next bar went down, and I had to take a loss. So I got in at 317.58. I got out at 317.59. So not too bad, 39 cents or so. And then that was all on that one. I just let it go. Here we go, folks. Look at this beauty. So, I'm always obsessed with sideways movement, right? Sideways movement, base building, base building, base building, base building, base building. And this was a few minutes before the show, or I don't know, 15 minutes before the show started. And I saw this and I saw it break to the downside. I was like, oh, that could set up for a nice V2 and a false breakout to the downside of this previous range. It went down, went back up, triggered my V2. So it's a nice V2, rejected the 1 ATR channel, and also had that sideways movement, false break to the downside to a new lower range, and then back up. I bought it here at 33.80. I went and got my vitamins, got a drink. Next thing I know, it was up here. I was like, what? Huge move, right? So anyway, I was like, should I hold this? Should I just play it out? I'm not sure what to do. I was like, no, I have the trade, or I have the show starting. I don't want to be sidetracked with it. So anyway, then it went down and I was like, I'm just getting out. So I got out at 34.26. So this was fantastic day trade. This doesn't happen a lot, I can tell you, with this magnitude, but it looks like a ton, but it was 1.5%, which is pretty good. But anyway, just another reminder of look for small compression bases being built. I mean, this is a perfect example of, this is why I talk about sideways movement, spike to the downside, reversal back up. And I just kind of pulled the trigger here, just saying, I'm not going to hold this through the show. And I'm really happy with that. And then it continued to go up, and I was like, oh, and then it came back down. I'm like, oh, good. And now it's going up again. So anyway, all in all, profitable day today. So I am very thankful for that. Let's take a look over here. Kamal bought Johnson & Johnson back here on the 13th of May. Again, sideways motion, right? Same thing with that VIX trade I just showed you. Sideways motion, broke down, reversed back up. He had a couple days of down, but it kept above his stop. Yesterday moved up nicely. And then rejected the 1 HER channel, reversed back down. So it's down 94 cents today, but well off of its low, thankfully. So anyway, if there's any changes for you there, Kamal, let me know. Twitter, Kamal also bought Twitter back here on the 7th of May, above the value zone, into the value zone, sideways motion, higher low V2 right here, moved up nicely, came back down, tested his stop intraday, closed above. Next day, tested his stop, closed above, and had a up today nicely. So congratulations, Kamal. Chewy, being he has Chewy, he bought this back on 5/12. I'm not sure. Miko, do you have Chewy as well? I know you showed me this trade. I can't remember if you got out, but downwards, sideways, false breakout, reversal. Moved up nicely. Yesterday gave a lot back. Right now it's about exactly even with where Bing he bought it. EOG, David bought, beautiful trade, 47.70 for David back here into the value zone. Moved up beautifully yesterday, down a little bit today, but I mean, when you have big up days, you can expect some pullbacks. It doesn't hurt the integrity of the chart or anything like that. It's just kind of some backfilling. So congratulations, David. VIX is hitting more highs. Dang, I should have held it. ABT, being he, okay, Abbott, being he bought here at 93.80, went up originally or nicely, but it's just come back down. So being he, if there's any changes, let me know. Look at this, everybody. Look at this monster trade from Kamal on silver. He bought silver here. Well, he didn't buy, he based it off the SLV chart when the 520 EMA had a nice crossover. but he expressed the trade in AGQ instead of SLV. AGQ is double. I bought it here at 21.39. Move sideways, move sideways. Again, sideways movement, everybody. Sideways movement, coiling, and then exploded. Look at this trade. This trade is up 32.5%. So round of applause for Kamal. I had this trade also. I expressed it in silver and regular silver. I bought it here when we had the crossover. I ran out of shares yesterday. I phased out, so sometimes I run out of shares, but I'm always happy to run out of shares. I can tell you that. CRM. Glenn had a nice trade here on CRM, 166.75. Moved up beautifully, then came back right to about his entry, and then took off again to the upside. So congratulations, Glenn. XLU, Kamal and MA bought XLU here at 55.57. Bullish engulfing bar. V1, rejection of this previous low of this range. So false breakout to the downside. Bullish engulfing bar. V1. Next day went down, but did hold halfway the washout bar. That's why I use halfway the washout bar, because it should have some support, and it did, barely, by 10 cents. Moved up beautifully yesterday, down just a little bit today. Nick has calls expiring on 5/29 at 18.50. It's 18.85, so he is in the money. Roku, Kamal and Quad Racer did take Roku yesterday. Rejection of the -1 ATR channel. V2, rejection of the 100-day moving average. Was up a little bit earlier today. They bought at 118 approximately. Is still holding the 100-day moving average. So if there's any changes for Kamal and Quad Racer, let me know. SSO, okay. So Steve Burns and Karen bought SSO yesterday. I think here 115.45. We had the 1050 EMA crossover. This is a good back-tested approach to trading SSO. Down just a smidge today. Down just a smidge today. And IWC, Steve took IWC with the 1050 EMA crossover here at 79.45. Was positive a little earlier, now down just a little bit. So let's see, what is the market doing? So the Dow Jones is down 158. NASDAQ is still positive. Frank says, thanks, Greg. I believe Walmart would beat. You know, I was talking with Dr. Jorgensen about that. I think Bruce is listening right now, but he can't type in. But we were talking about, you know, the sacrilegious thought of holding through earnings, which it's fun to talk about, but, you know, I don't do it. But we were both like, how can the earnings be bad? How could they possibly be bad? So I think Frank was on the same wavelength there. And congratulations, bud. Kamal says WDAY. Yeah, back in the value zone. 2 days of sideways movement. Nice washout. Nice V2 here today. The only thing here, we do have a little bit of a gap, but it's not a quarter ATR gap. Not bad. You know, it is, you know, yeah, I guess my thinking would be I'm a little concerned about this 100-day moving average here. Let's look at the weekly. It's fine on the weekly. I don't like weeklies when they're at the second and third ATR channel, but this is right in the value zone, so you know it's pretty benign. Yeah, that's about the maximum I would take. Would be here right at the 1 ATR channel. That 100-day concerns me a little bit, but anyway, I hope that helps. Frank says, Mark Minervini is big on sideways motion. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've talked about this before. Sideways motion sideways little bars, or in other words, sideways motion lead to big bars. Big bars lead back to small bars. Small bars lead back to big bars. You know, I just don't like buying big breakouts when I feel like I'm chasing. right? I like to buy when the spring is coiled and sell when the spring unwinds. Well, it looks like I got out of that a little early, didn't I? I'm sure you've been there. I came back and went, what? What is happening? And then I was like, okay, I'll just trade this through the podcast. And I said, no, I don't want to be distracted. So I got out here. Then here I was like, oh, that's good idea. And now it's just taken back off. Look at this 100-day up or 200-day up here, though. Okay. And Bruce, if you are listening, I did buy you the same trade on VIX, by the way. He and I were talking about VIX earlier. That's why I was even looking at it. So I'm glad we had that conversation, bud. Kamal, I will sell XLU today if it rejects the 50 RSI. Okay. Make sure you tell me at the end, though, Kamal, right? Just to double check that I've done it, okay? Rejects the 50 RSI. Right now we're at 50.52. Okay, good. That's what I would do as well. You know, you bought it under the 50. If it rejects the 50, I would get out. All right. How we doing on time? Pretty good. Okay, so listen, this is the time of the day that I like to talk about trader psychology, trading philosophy, good trading words of wisdom, you know, and there's some really great Facebook and Twitter channels out there that spend a lot of time posting about trader psychology, philosophy, and they're really helpful. And there's some really great, well-known traders, and they put out great information. And one of my favorite, you've seen me share his quotes a lot, is Julian Komar at blog Julian Komar on Twitter. He has really good stuff. I read his post every day, just like I do Steve's and a lot of other people's posts every day. But I like this one from Julian today. You can't learn chart or stock analysis from books. You can only learn it by practice, opening a chart and studying it. Open the company's website and start analyzing. Okay, so here he's talking about fundamentals. But from a technical standpoint, this is so true. Look, you can't play guitar just reading a guitar book. You have to practice, right? And you can't learn chart or stock analysis from the books. That's why with all of my students, I always suggest to them, and this is what I do in my lessons, I always suggest taking your chart, going through day by day. Anything here? No, not really. Anything here? No. Okay, well, there was V2, but it didn't trigger. Oh, okay. Listen, look, we broke to a new low. If we trigger a V2 the next day or the next bar, I'll buy it. Boom. So if I was sitting there with Kamal and we were going through the charts, or if we were in my lessons, I'd say, what do you think, Kamal? And he would either say yes or no. And then if he said yes, I would say, okay, well, why? And hopefully Kamal would say, well, we have sideways motion here. We have consolidation. We have a spike to the downside and a reversal back up with the V2. False breakout, V2, rejection of the negative 1 ATR channel. And I'd say, would you buy this? And he would say yes. And then bam, right? Of course, it doesn't always happen like this. But anyway, go through your charts. I don't care what chart it is. And if you have the ability, go through one day by one day. Just go through. Do I see anything here? No, I don't see it. Oh, there's a crossover. Okay, I don't know if that works or not. Okay, I'm out of half the position. No, I'm in the other half. Oh, now I'm out of all of it. Now I may be in again here, right? You can literally do a year's worth of trading just in one or 2 hours, just by going through, and that experience really helps you. So, back to this, you can't learn chart or stock analysis from books. You can only learn it by practice. Open a chart and start studying. I do this all the time. I've been trading for 24 years. I still do this. I mean, I do it with a lot of students, and it's helpful for me as well, because you get a feel for what's going on with the market. You get a feel for these patterns. So if you have the ability to do that, please do it. Or if you don't have ability to go day by day, look at charts, look for reoccurring patterns. Another suggestion I might have, I can't remember who it was in Market Wizards or another book I read, but this guy owned a large brokerage firm. His daughter wanted to become a trader. And he said, great, okay. sat her down in front of a computer, had her look at tick charts, 1 minute bars or tick charts. And he says, watch this for 3 or 4 hours a day. Come back in 3 months and we'll talk about it. Because these patterns, whether they're weekly bars or monthly bars or daily bars or minute bars or tick bars, these patterns recur. They're fractal. They're cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles. And so the best way to get the most miles underneath you, to get the most reps underneath you, is sit down and watch a 1 minute chart during the day. Watch it go. Oh, we're getting a higher low. Did it work out? Did it not? Oh, we're getting a crossover. Oh, we're getting a deep dip buy, right? So just watching one day on a 1 day bar, you don't get a lot of experience. Go down to smaller time frames and let these things work themselves out, and you can notice them over and over. Okay. Bing He says, Greg, for MA crossover, how do you set your stop since we won't know where the cross under is, won't be able to know the risk to reward? Yeah, that's a really good question. And you're right. But what I do always know, Bing He, is I know exactly how much I'm going to lose, right? So look, here is Goldman Sachs. 5 is 177.91. 20 is 177.77. This is a valid crossover. Now, I can look at this and go, look, the 5 is barely over the 20. If I lose, I'm probably going to lose really small. That's why I don't like buying crossovers way up here, because then you have all the way down. But look, let's just say I was going to lose 1,000. Let's just say $1,000 is the maximum I'm going to lose on this trade, right? So I take $1,000, I divide it by the value of 2 ATRs, which is 1227. And it would tell me to buy 81.49 shares. So I buy 81 shares. Then I know exactly where my maximum loss is. It's $12.27 below me. So all the way down here. So if it gets all the way down here, I know I will lose $1,000. Now, very likely, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it's not going to go this low. The cross under is going to get me out before that. So when it comes to crossovers, I don't like to buy them up here at the second ATR channel because they've extended so much. Lots of times you have a lot of risk back below. I like them when they're just like this. But the most important thing with crossovers is just knowing your maximum loss on any trade, right? Like for me, okay, if any trade, I'll lose $1,000. 95% of the time, I'll lose 200 or 300 or 350. But if I hit my max, and that's why I like using 2 ATRs as my position sizing and knowing exactly where my stops are. And I like because it adjusts and quantifies what volatility is. Anyway, so I hope that helps. But again, the closer they are together, I know the smaller my loss is most likely going to be. Does that make sense, Bing He? Glenn says, Kamal, workday is below 200 EMA, which prevents me from buying. Only buy stocks over the 50 and the 200 EMA. Otherwise, you are fighting the tape. Good advice, Glenn. That's a good filter. Frank says, the feel is real when you do trade a lot and generally false when you do not. 100%. But you know what, Frank? I was just talking about going bar by bar by bar by bar. I've never had a student, I don't think I have, where we've gone bar by bar with no money. It's totally simulation, and they're nervous. I'm like, okay, my favorite sign is no whammies when we look at the next day, right? And I get butterflies, and there's no money. So I think that's good. I think it's good. And I always tell them, I'm like, all right, just pretend we're doing this for real money, real hard-earned money. And it makes it a little bit realer. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. Nice to have you back. It was good chatting with you the other night. Okay, so we have 20 minutes. So listen, before we go down through my watch list, quick reminder for me and a quick reminder for everybody else, choose wisely today. by Diana Cooper. I don't know who that is, but thank you, Diana, for the nice little graphic. But choose wisely, Greg, today. Everyone else choose wisely. Wisely, and what does that mean? It means going down through the watch list. For me, at least, it means looking for a combination, confluence of indicators. Make sure that I have a good risk to reward ratio. Make sure that I do not have too many correlated positions. I'm not going to take, if I have something great come up today, but I already have a couple of those industries, I'm not going to take it. So anyway, choose wisely today, and just try to choose the best one that's out there that gives you a good risk to reward. That the reward is the risk is below you, not too far away, where you have some good upside potential. So thank you, Diana Cooper. I'm obsessed with this VIX now. Look at this, everybody. I got out way too early. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Honestly, though, had I managed this trade, I would have gotten out here when we closed below the previous day's low. So actually, just me hitting the sell button here got me a better move anyway. But if I was trailing with the 10-day or something, I'd still be in it. We zoomed right up through that 200. Boy, did we. Man, what a huge move. Huge move. So we're down 250 points on the Dow. All right, let me just take a quick look. Alibaba, if this loses the third ATR channel, I'm out. S&P down, rejected the 100 yesterday, rejected the 100 today as well. I'll be buying that at the end of the day. USO, I'll probably sell half of my USO if it closes under the third as well. Apple, I don't need on there anymore. That was that little lost day trade I had. And then let's look at VIX on the daily. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to let that one go. All right, let's get to it. I'm running a little bit late here. Z Attaboy, how you doing? What Forex app do you use? I don't trade Forex. I could trade Forex on my platform here, which is Trade Navigator. It's just charting, but I don't trade Forex. Glenn says, best advice I've ever been given. Plan entry, exit, and stop loss before you enter a trade and follow your rules. One of my rules is never buy a stock below the 200 EMA. There you go, right? Everybody has different rules, and sometimes they're going to work for you. Sometimes they're going to work against you, but come up with rules that make sense to you, that are, part of good trading principles, and stick with them. Glenn says, Greg, long Qs, short IWM, still working. Good, good, good. Good, good. Oh, yeah, let's look at IWM. So I assume IWM is down 0.9% today, and the Qs are up, right? Up a little bit. So yeah, so there's the spread. Good. All right, I'm going to zoom down through these because I don't have a whole lot of time left. Apple rejected the third ATR channel. Imagine that. I want to pull back into value zone. Adobe, having problems getting above this high. I think it's slightly above, but I just need to pull back into value. Amazon, boy, I was wrong on Amazon yesterday. Somebody asked me about Amazon, and I was like, I don't like that it rejected the 1 ATR channel, although it looks like it was a cup and handle here, and this one really went exploding up there. Do want to point out, though, do you see how we made a high and another high, and now we're at a higher high? Look how strong the MACD bars were up here. Now we're at a higher high here. No green bars whatsoever. That's called a double top with a bearish divergence. I learned that from studying with Dr. Alexander Elder. He would be looking for some kind of trigger to go short here. I'm not going to short this, but it is a good example of a top, a pullback, a top with no MACD over here. The implication running out of momentum. Boeing had a nice day yesterday. Andrea, notice how we're holding about halfway of that bar. right? So if I was really interested in trading Boeing, I would look at this and say, we have a big up bar. Now we're down, we're holding about halfway. Now I'd go into a smaller time frame and look for I would look for an entry, like maybe a bounce off the 200-day. I would trade it out on the 39-minute, but looking at the bigger picture, I would say, okay, here's the daily. It's holding about halfway. That's good. Let me go to a smaller time frame and look for an entry. Alibaba, okay, of course I hit one profit target. I'm going to get out of half if this closes under the third ATR channel. Berkshire, I don't see anything there. Beyond Meat up 6%. Wow. Caterpillar, inside bar, I don't see anything there. Carnival, down much lower earlier. I don't see anything here. We were above the value zone. Like to see it come back into the value zone. Man, I better hustle. I'm really running late here. Dow Jones, I don't see anything. Walt Disney, I don't see anything. Etsy, continued down after yesterday's big down bar. Facebook up nicely today. Looks like it broke out, but nothing there for me. Gold up nicely today. Google down a bit. Goldman Sachs. All right. This is a good back-tested, profitable, long-term approach to trading Goldman Sachs. Let me show you real quick. I'm showing this by permission from etfreplay.com. I use this for my back testing. Here's Goldman Sachs, 5 EMA crossing over the 20 EMA. You can see this back test 501.9% return, while buy and hold during the same period only up 154%. Drawdown buy and hold was 78.8, maximum drawdown 61.2. So it returns better and it has less drawdown. So as long as the 5 stays above the 20, I will be buying this today. Home Depot, I don't see anything there, waiting for a pullback. IBB, waiting for a pullback into the value zone. Intel, look at that, well off of its highs. I don't see anything there. Russell down, we just talked about that. Johnson & Johnson, Kamal still has that. We'll talk about whether he's made any changes. CarMax, I don't see anything there. Just need a pullback. We had a big day yesterday. Inside bar on Coca-Cola. Lockheed tried to get over the 200. That's just the thing with the S&P right now. The S&P has the 200-day right above us. That's going to be a real test. And if we fail there, I think that'll be concerning. What we really need to do is get over the 200-day moving average. MasterCard up nicely, but well off of its highs. You see how it rejected the third ATR channel. Mickey D's, nothing much. Merck, big day down. Down in here, if we could move sideways, get a V1, V2. Microsoft is now negative. Netflix looks like it's working on a V1 to the downside, rejection of the previous high, but I'm not going to short that. Nike, look at Nike. Man, did it give back a lot. A lot. It closed above the 200, which was good, and zoomed up, but now it's given more back. Philip Morris up a penny. Little V1 here, but it's not in the context of what I would want to buy, but it is a V1. PayPal, last couple days it's been up, closed down, up, closed down. Q's nearing the low of the day here. Silver, monster trade, Kamal. So proud of you, my friend. And I know a bunch of you also had silver or AGQ, so congratulations. I'll throw myself in there. That was a great trade. S&P looks like it's closing near its low. I did have the overnight SPY trade. It lost a little bit. I will be buying this again today. Teladoc was above the value zone, into the value zone. Now we at least are getting some sideways motion. So, this is starting to pique my interest, but I still need a trigger. Bonds, looks like we have support down here, but nothing there. Tesla, now that's down. Twitter, Kamal still has. It's still up nicely. UAL was up big earlier. Now we have a V1 to the downside. And it looks like, well, I don't think we ever got to the 50, but nothing there. UNG, nothing there. I know I'm going quick. United Healthcare, I don't see anything in there either. Oil, I do have. This one is down a little bit. I'm going to take half off if it closes under the... holy smokes. Look at VIX. Do I even want to look and punish myself? Ah! Oh well, I'm happy, right? I'm happy from here to here on a kind of an untrade plan. Look at this go. Holy smokes. Verizon, nope. Walgreens, nope. Walmart, man. Nice exit, Frank. That's all I can say. If anybody wanted to see what a V1 to the downside looks like, this is it. Washes out yesterday's high, closes below yesterday's close. Bearish engulfing bar to the downside. Looks very close to a rejection of that previous high. This is all nasty. Now, Andrea, if we rally tomorrow, where do you think we probably are going to rally to before we stop? Right there. About halfway, right? About halfway if we rally. I'm not saying we will. Energy. Nope. Financials. Nope. Real estate. No, sir. Utilities. Looks like currently it's under the 50 for Kamal, so we'll just see where that closes. Health, no. Zoom, no. So the only thing that I really see today, if now it's under, now the 5 is under the 20. Otherwise, I would have taken that. So that's the only thing I'm going to be looking for right there. Andrew says, yes, I see it. Good. Hey, Mount Doji, buddy. What's happening? Good to see you. Haven't seen you a bit. Hope everything's well. Steve Burns says, I'm long Disney. Oh, you are? Let's put this over here. On the 1050 crossover. Yeah, it did cross over, didn't it? So for me, unfortunately, we were talking about our rules with Glenn. My rule is if it's above the second ATR channel, I can't buy it. So good luck to Steve. And if anyone else takes that, let me know. So let me put this up on the board here. I'm not quite sure where Steve bought it, but I assume it's right around here. So there's the 1050 cross, right? So because it's over the second ATR channel, unfortunately, it just does not let me take the trade. I have to let it pass. And it could go zooming up, and I hope it does for Steve. Andrew says, hey, Doji, I see you on Twitter a lot. Good. My gosh, this is carnage at the end of the day here, isn't it? Okay, so I have 4 minutes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and okay, there's one. Okay, so what I did is I sold half of my remaining position in Alibaba here because it looks like it's closing under there. And then USO, I sold half of my remaining position that I have there. You know, the market's closing pretty ugly here. It did reject the third ATR channel. I've had a great trade on this. I want to lock in a little bit more. Alibaba, like I said, you know, I hit the one profit target, and you heard me say earlier, if it closes under the third ATR channel, I'm just going to take the remaining half. I've been scaling out, but I'm going to take the remaining half. then I'll be looking for Goldman Sachs here. It could potentially, so I guess I better get this queued up. How many shares am I buying? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. So 177.72 is the 20, 177.71 is the 5. Ooh, this is going to be close. What is Apple doing? Did Apple go negative? Yeah. Now it's above. Now, if they're even, that also qualifies as the crossover. So this is going to come right down to the finish. So I'll just have to sit here and babysit it. Frank says, I will take GS with you, Greg. Okay, sounds good. But I'm not taking it unless we have the crossover, just so you understand, right? Now we're under. But again, if they're even, if it was 177.72 and 177.72, I would still take it. I learned that the hard way. ETF replay considers even numbers a crossover. One day they were even. I didn't take it. I remember it was silver. It went running up. You remember that, Steve? You took it. I'm like, why did he take it? And then he explained it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Now it's under. Do I want to look at the VIX? Do I want to do it? Oh. I wish I could say I was mature enough that I don't look back, but I do. I don't think that's going to cross over. So 1 minute to go. Looks like we're accelerating in here to the close. Looks like I did sell half my BABA. I did sell half my USO. And I don't think we're going to have the crossover here. Remember, we were up 911 points yesterday, so a pullback of 405.5 wouldn't be out of the question, right? From a Fibonacci standpoint. Wow, this is an ugly close. All right. All right, so I did buy SPY at 291.97. Did take the little overnight loss, but at least I'm able to buy that a little lower today. $291.97. Okay. Baba, I did sell half of the, I phased out. I did sell half because it closed below here. If we get a close below the previous day's low, I'll take my other half off. And then USO, I sold half because it closed. So all in all, I got to be grateful. It was a green day because of Baba and the VIX trade. So I'm very grateful for that. So that's it. All right. So if anybody has any changes on the board with their positions, please let me know and we will get those taken care of. Bing He, cut loss for ABT. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Bing He. I'm glad to hear. Remember, we want to keep our garden free of weeds, and that was a weed. Kamal says, I closed XLU, closed below. Okay. I'm going to take Kamal out of there. I don't know about MA. David says, I'm out of EOG. Okay, good. I didn't like how that closed either. Oh, hey, before I get the rest of these, just real quick, my daily little plug. Hope you don't mind, but I try to give an hour and 28 minutes of good information, and then just 2 minutes of commercials. But I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I've been trading for 24 years. I've studied with some real great traders like Stephen Burns. I've studied them. They've been my coaches and mentors. Stephen Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Larry Williams, Kerry Lavorne, and the course that I teach, it's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so it's a total of 15 hours. It's pretty involved, long form course, and I teach you everything I've learned from my teachers and mentors. I teach you everything I've learned from my experience of 24 years of trading, and I think it's a really good course. It's $1,000, but I think it's worth every penny. I really, really do. I mean, I really do. I think it's worth every penny. So, if you're interested, reach out to me. You can send me email. My email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. Before I take on a new student, I like to have a Skype call with them. It's not a sales call. It's just a call to get to know you a little bit better. I just want to understand, your experience of trading, what your goals are, what your challenges have been. Then it's a good time for you to ask me questions about the course. And like I said, it's not a sales call. There's no pressure. You don't even have to worry about that. I'm just seeing if we are a good fit and ask each other some questions. And if you're not interested, no problem whatsoever. It's good to be able to, at the very least, just be able to put a face with the name. It's pretty intensive course. We do a lot of what I was talking about earlier. We go through chart after chart after chart. We do simulations. We just get a lot of reps underneath us. The first part of the course, I teach you during each session. Then the second half, you need to teach it back to me. And I have you break down the charts. What's good here? What's bad? What's the risk to reward ratio? What's a better trade? This one or this one? Where's your entries? Where's your exit? Where's your stops? Where's your ultimate profit target? Where's your intermediate term profit target? Where's your emergency stop? End of day stop, right? All that kind of stuff. And just like Glenn was saying, before you get into a trade, you're going to have a plan. And, a friend of mine, Dr. Jorgensen and I were talking about it. He says, Greg, you talk about having a plan and following it. He goes, what about if it's a bad plan? I'm like, that's a good point. You can't follow a bad plan. You have to follow a plan based upon good trading principles, support, resistance, phasing out to the upside, getting out quickly if you're wrong to the downside, playing offense, defense, all the kind of stuff. But that's what I teach you. So anyway, I've got quite a few students going right now at the moment, but I would have some time, I think, starting maybe this coming weekend or next week. So if you're interested, reach out to me. We'll have that Skype call and it'll be nice to meet you. And then if you like today's podcast, I really would appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here. It helps build the channel. A lot of people out there trading. Boy, I got the nicest email yesterday from somebody on Twitter, just telling me that he has been looking, trading, reading books, watching videos. He goes, he's just so confused. And he says, when I got to your YouTube channel, It seemed pretty simple and it kind of resonated with me. So thank you so much. Music to my ears when I get emails like that, because that's really why I started this channel. So, all right, there's my ad. There's my commercial. Thanks for bearing through it with me. Kamal says, sold GS puts and bought CDW. Both of them lost their triggers at the end of the day. Oh, okay. So I didn't get those on the board. Quad Racer, thoughts on SDC? I want to put Quad Racer on the spot since he's a student of mine. Say, hey, how about you break it down for me, Quad Racer? But I won't do that. Smile Direct. Okay. Big bearish bar. This looks similar to what Walmart looked like. Down into the value zone. This is good. Sideways. 1 day a sideways motion. 2 days a sideways motion. 3 days a sideways motion. I like where it's at, but I need a trigger. I need a washout and a reverse back up. I need a V1 or a V2 here. Let's look at the weekly. Big bar behind us, meaning that probably about halfway here, even if it does rally, it will fail. Probably right around here, it would fail from a Fibonacci standpoint. But I like the return to value. I like the sideways motion. I just don't see a trigger yet, Quad Racer. Hey, Karen, nice to see you, my friend. Karen, do you still have silver? Because I know I have Kamal on here with silver, but maybe we talked yesterday and maybe you had me take you off. I'm not sure. Hey, Dr. Jorgensen is there. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for bringing up VIX today. Good hike, good trades today. Off on the bike. Thanks, bud. I will speak with you later. Wiener Dog says in Disney. Okay. All right, I got you on there. I hope that goes up for you and Steve. Quad Racer said, looking for return to value V1 or V2. You got it, bud. No to silver. Okay. Well, you had a good run on it yesterday. Kamal scores another 6.54 out of this today. Kamal, any changes on AGQ, or are you basing your... I think you told me you're basing your stop off of the 200-day on silver, if that's correct. Wasn't sure. You could make a case, that you rejected the 200 on AGQ. But if there's any changes, let me know. All right. Any other... MA, if you're out there, are you still in utilities? I still have that. All right, so we have Steve. Why did I call you Disney, Karen? Steve and Karen in Disney with the crossover. J&J. Make sure. Let's see. Where's Kamal? I will sell XLU. Okay, so J&J, any change? I don't see any changes on J&J. Okay, looks like we're still in J&J. Twitter, Kamal had an update on that. Good. Chewy, being he, I think Chewy is still in. AGQ, I know Kamal's definitely still in there. CRM, Glenn had a nice day on CRM. I can't. Okay, I know Kamal got at XLU. I think MA's still in it. Nick still a little in the money on his calls. Roku, Kamal, and Quad Racer. I don't see any change there. SSO for Karen and Steve is down a bit today. And IWC for Steve is down a bit today. Dan is in Disney also. All right, the Mouseketeers. You know, speaking of Disney, when I was a young baby, my sister, she was in movies we lived in Los Angeles, and she was on the Disney set every day in the movies that she made. And my mom would take me every day. I was just a baby. I don't remember, but I guess I spent my first year as a baby at Disney. um, Kamal says, I'm tracking SLV. Mostly we'll sell AGQ if we hit 17. Seems like there's resistance there. Okay, sounds good. You update me on that. Kamal Quadracer says, what is the signal for Disney? I'm not following. Maybe I missed it. The 1050 EMA crossover quad. You know how we talked about crossovers, and remember the sheet that I gave you with the good back tested. You'll see Disney. I'm pretty sure it's on there. The 10 EMA crossing over the 50. You know, we look a lot for the 520 because it happens more often, but the 1050 crossover does back test well. Well, let's take a look. Do I still have this up? $10.50. All right, again, I'm using this with written permission from etfreplay.com. 1050 EMA crossover on Disney, getting in when the 10 crosses over the 50, getting out when the 10 crosses under. Just from a mechanical standpoint, 264% return compared to buy and hold 250. The crossover system had a drawdown of 50%. The buy and hold had a drawdown of 67.9. So you can see it wins on both return and on drawdown. So that is the reason why. Bing He says, somehow I still cannot convince myself to take Disney trade. It looks really extended. How can I convince myself to take such crossover trade in the future? Well, you know, Bing He, we talked about this a little yesterday. I mean, I didn't take the trade today because it's outside the parameters of where I can take it because it closed over the second ATR channel. Doesn't mean it's not going to go up, right? But I think the best way, I mean, honestly, sincerely, Bing He, I think if you watch some of these crossovers play out for you and you make money on them, you'll be a little more likely to take the trade. Buy one share of Disney. Just go through the motions. Make it a real trade, but buy one share so that your emotions are not going to get amplified either to the upside or the downside. I mean, I didn't take it either, right? Because I don't like buying extended also. I'd much rather buy down here in the value zone, right? You know, I'm a big value zone fan, right? I would have much rather bought this bullish engulfing bar with the V1, right? But sometimes that taking these up here, man, they can go screaming up for a year. You know, Kamal was nice enough to show me on a Skype call. You know, he's a great coder. He coded up the results of using a filter of not taking the trade above the second ATR channel. It actually didn't do as well as just taking them wherever they happen. Imagine that, right? We thought we were onto the all-time greatest trading approach ever, but when he coded it up, there was a little something that was off. We looked at that and went, oh my gosh, that beats everything. I can't remember what it was now, but that just takes into account completely trading it discretionarily, right? Not getting out at the 70 or anything like that. But just for me, I don't like to buy over the second ATR channel. That's just it. But this may go screaming up, but sounds like you're a little bit like me about buying extended. Yeah, I don't like buying extended. So either just don't buy them, take crossovers in the value zone. Maybe that's your filter, or take them where they happen and just buy one share. Do a very, very small trade and just so it's live and see how it plays out. Dan says, Bing He, start with paper trade. Must not become deer in the headlight if it goes down. 100%. But honestly, Dan, I would say buy one share. I think there's a huge difference in even buying one share than paper trade, right? Paper trade's helpful, but it's not real, right? I think you add one little layer of it being more realistic if you just add one share. But anyway, either one share, paper trade. Andrew says, so your sister was a child actor. Yes, she was. I think I've told people this before, but my sister almost got the part of, I can't remember now, Louisa or Brigida in The Sound of Music. Can you imagine? She was almost in The Sound of Music. She was from Switzerland. My mother immigrated here from Switzerland, so I'm half Swiss. And the story goes that they really liked her, but the reason she didn't get the part was because her accent was a bit stronger and more real because she really was from Switzerland. I can't remember Brigida or Louisa, the one that would have been about 14 years old. Could you imagine that? Every time I see Sound of Music, I was like, oh, so close. That would have been so cool if my sister was in there. Yeah, she was in a bunch of movies. Bing He says, Dan, paper trade don't work for me. I got a lot of psychological problem, I guess. Well, look, that's all of us, Bing He, right? That's all of us. We all have our issues for sure. Buy one or two shares, right? Or just if it doesn't resonate with you up there, like it doesn't me, then just don't buy them. Wow, the Swiss angle. Yes, I'm half Swiss. Yep. She did movies with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn when they were child actors. I remember that. All right. How's your son doing, Andrea? I'm sorry. How is she? How is he doing? Is he doing better? Hope so. So SPY trade's the only trade I had today. Got out of half a BABA. Took a little SPY trade at the end, USO, but yeah, I just did not see anything line up today. So we've got Disney here with Steve, Karen, and Dan. J&J, we still have Kamal. Twitter, we still have Kamal. Chewy, Bing He, are you still in Chewy? AGQ, Kamal, the absolute reigning king of the day on AGQ. Nice job, bud. Glenn coming in a second place on CRM. MA still in XLU, I think. Nixon still there. And then Roku. Kamal and Quad, you guys, both of you still in? Pinsy, hey, how you doing? And company, what would be the stop in Disney trade? I didn't take it. So, good question. So, if you were trading it mechanically, Pinsy, just a strictly mechanical trade would be stay in Disney until the 10 crosses back under the 50 EMA. That's the mechanical way to trade it. When I showed you the back test on ETF replay, that's how it was testing. Just staying in it no matter what it does until the 10 crosses back below the 50. Me personally, I have two approaches to getting out of crossovers. If the price closes below both the 10 and the 50, I get out of half of the position. If the 10 then crosses back under the 50, I get out of the second half. If the price rejected a major moving average or the 70 RSI above me, I would get out. That's where I would take my profit. Kamal says, now I get how Greg stays so neutral. Da-dun-dun. Yes, Swiss are neutral. I'm only half neutral though, because I'm half Swiss. Yep. Being Swiss sometimes is a curse because you're always like right on time. I literally have it in my blood. I'm telling you. Um, Andrea says, yes, he is better. Tested negative over the weekend. Oh, thank goodness. Glad to hear. Frank says, speaking of Sound of Music, Christopher Plummer lives right near me. Is that right? Wow. I love Christopher Plummer. I love The Sound of Music. I just love that movie. Have you ever met him, Frank? Kamal, yes, I'm in Roku, has not trigger stopped. Okay. Quad's still in Roku. Got it. Quad says, pretty much sideways movement for now, so I'm staying in. You are correct. It is sideways motion. I mean, it's building a range here, right? All right. Well, if you have any other questions, any other updates on your position, any jokes, any funny stories, otherwise, I am going to get my hiking boots on. Katie looks very tired over there. Oh, she's dreaming right now. When I talk about trading, it puts her to sleep. I hope that doesn't happen to everybody else, but I don't blame you if it does. But anyway, we're going to take the girl out on a little walk and then go on my big walk, grab some food. Then I am teaching tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. I always look forward when I have lessons in the evening. I really do. I just like nothing better than teaching people how to trade. So I guess I'm in the right business. So yep, have my lesson tonight with Travis. Let's see. Frank says, just briefly at a place we call Cannon Crossing. Oh, that's cool. That's great. Thanks, Kamal. Thank, buddy. I appreciate that. Wiener says, have a great evening, everybody. You too, Karen. Appreciate it. Dan says, thanks for the great lesson in therapy. You are welcome. All right. And hey, by the way, go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile or a wave or hello, or give somebody a call just to check in with them. You may make their day. All right. And also, if you could, before you click out of here, hit the thumbs up button. I would also really appreciate that. So, all right. Go out, be good, be safe, study your charts, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow during the last hour of the trading day. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity.